Well, it is finally time to get to work on our Piaggio Typhoon. If you saw last time when we picked this thing up, we ended up trading a pre-bug for it, and we finally got a Typhoon on the channel. This has been, like I said, the most requested scooter besides a runner, obviously, but this is the most accessible thing that I can get here in the United States of America. We did it. We found something with a Piaggio engine. It's the air-cooled one, obviously, and it has a 70 kit on it. I don't know what kit's on it, and I don't know a lot of the things that are on this bike other than what we could see right now because we haven't even taken a part off of it. So that is just what we're going to be doing today. We did find some other issues along with this bike. When we first did the video on the walk around on it, you know that I was talking about this stem that's barely sitting on here, and it's JB welded. Well, after doing some research, it looks like this stem is supposed to actually be facing this way. The bolt's supposed to be on this side, and the bolt's supposed to be recessed in there. That's why I was a little confused. After realizing that, I don't know how I didn't see that the first time, that this thing's supposed to be turned around. But either way, we're gonna fix that today, along with throwing on some other simple but necessary parts for this thing. First thing being a side stand. I hate center stands on these scooters. On any scooter I do, I always do side stands, more for storage. Plus, you know, it's banging on the exhaust pipe already, so we're gonna fix that up. Very much important piece right here is the proper headlight for the Typhoon here, because I do not like the headlight that's on it. So hopefully that just fits right in there, but we're gonna get rid of these ones, throw that bad boy in there, throw on this, and then we're gonna dive into actually seeing what else is underneath this bike. So let's get some panels off and let's get to it, boys. First thing I wanna do is the headlight and then get this front panel off so we can kind of get a look at everything that's under here for the wiring, because I see with the stage 6 wiring cluster he put in, there's some additional wires there. So before I go back to the stock bars, I just want to make sure he didn't go through and like cut all the stock harness and all the stock connectors that we need for the stock handlebars away, because that will change a lot if I really want to put in all that work to rewire the stock cluster in. So what the hell's holding this thing on, man? Looks like they had a couple screws down here. Wow. Well, I did it. Here's some crazy Piaggio stuff. So we have a disc brake with a caliper. Brake fluid line runs up into like almost like a brake master cylinder right here, right? With a reservoir that's back here. That runs to a trigger arm pushing down the actual piston, which runs to a cable, which is hard mounted, all the way up to here. So then, now the only reason I could see doing this is just to not have a brake master reservoir up here on the handlebars. But this is crazy over engineered for something so small, in my opinion. I thought that was super, super interesting. Definitely going to just be going with a standard brake master cylinder on the hand up there, and getting rid of all that just because don't like it. That is just crazy to me. I don't understand that. All right, boys, we're going through and we're stripping the front end down, and I'm basically making a list of things I need to order now after looking at this. So I need to order a brake master cylinder for the front and a brake line. For now, I'm going to just take the whole front brake off just to get out of my way. Pull all that out. I actually went through and completely removed the stage 6 cluster thing that he had going on here just because it wasn't working already, so I wanted to check over all the wiring. So I removed all that electrical tape and got these wires all unplugged and kind of get an idea of what needs to be redone for that. I'm still on the fence if we're even going to be using it because I kind of want to run the stock bars on here again. So damn, that thing is cross-threaded in there. Something's going on there. That one's butter. Look at that thing. Sheesh. Just enough for that. Yes, sir. There we go. It's interesting. Cable brake into a hydro brake. Front brake completely pulled off now. We got this whole contraption pulled off, so it's looking a lot more bare in the front right now, and we're able to kind of navigate things. This looks like a little crazy. Looks like he's missing the top gap to the actual bearing. See if I can find one of those laying around. All right, as you can see, we got the naked bar stem off, and I feel a little better now after looking at this. I think the homie described it a little worse. I see the JB weld he put in down here. It looks like it has a press-in fitting up here that's threaded, So it has an additional bolt that pulls the stem down. That's pretty nice. But like you saw, he had it backwards. So we're gonna throw it back on now, where the slit is actually where the bolt goes. See if I need to even Dremel out or clean off this JB weld or not. Might be good, but get that back on there, tighten it back down, and get the bars on the correct way. So this is actually holding them on. All right, after a lot of labor, we got this naked bar stem flipped around and on the right direction, but it's still junk. We actually just snapped one of the bolts on the back of this thing. They're such cheap quality, man. These things are not the best here. So, and now we're about to do our side stand, which looks to be fairly easy. Super easy, just like that. Throw that bad boy on, and we'll pop off our other one. All right, boys, we have our new headlight, but we ran into a little bit of an issue as these headlight bulbs that go in here are completely different from the ones that come in the headlight that I had. So if you look at the ones in the headlight I had, one bulb is actually a really small one and kind of like weirdly mounted in there. The other one's one of those snap ring style ones. And neither of the bulbs nor the ones I just ordered actually work in here, but I think I found the ones I actually need now. So we're gonna have to do that, and we're gonna have to rewire some things to actually make it work. But that's to come. Like I said, we also removed the front brake because it had that weird situation going on down there. We're gonna be running a regular master style front brake. And I need a line, which is in the mail. And I ordered a master cylinder for the front brake, but the one I ordered is massive. I tried to just order one on Amazon to be quick, but the one they sent me is like huge. It's for like a Harley, and it just looks absolutely ridiculous on here. So we're gonna reorder that. I wanna take these shrouds off and get a look at what the cylinder looks like in here and take this apart, because I haven't taken this apart yet. So we're gonna do that right now. For now, we're gonna go ahead and just set the headlight back in and bolt it up, even though we don't have the bulbs, but it definitely looks a lot better than the headlights that were on it. So. One thing I was very surprised about the Typhoon is in the last video when I asked to comment below if we should do the RC1 swap in the scooter, there was actually a decent amount of people that said we shouldn't do it. And I was surprised by that, because usually people are just like, you know, all for doing just the most obnoxious things. People were like, no, the RC1's too much and it'll pretty much take the fun away. I kind of agree with that in the aspect of making it liquid cooled would just be making this scooter a little too much for what I want it for. I want this scooter as like, kind of like a beater fun stunt bike version of what I use my pre-bugs for, which would be like just for the big ride outs and everything like that. And as less problems as you possibly can is usually the best for things like that, because the less possibility of failure. So something like going liquid cooled, or like what I did on the F12 and going all out on everything like that, is fun and all. It's really cool, but it also sometimes can really take away that easy maintenance and just guarantee of always having the scooter ready to go. I kind of think instead of, you know, stripping the RC1 out of the GP1, which was an option, that would basically be getting rid of one of my whole scooters, because after that, there's no point to even have the GP1 without the RC1 in it, that big scooter. So, build the engine that's in here right now, have fun with building this 70 kit and getting power out of a Typhoon, and then possibly finding an actual 125 or 150 case from overseas and swapping in here. Probably still maintaining air cooled. That's interesting. Is this the... Interesting. First look at this thing. There's a lot going on right here. I'm really confused on this, because this looks like a water temp gauge going in the head of an air cooled engine. Never seen that. And then here we got our giant oil tank, and it looks like, in fact, it is capped off, as you can see. So he's running premix, but we'll go ahead and just remove it while we're in here. Let's get these shrouds off and take a look at more of this engine. Big old polini carb on this thing. Oil tank reservoir removed. Look like the homie dirt bike rods out here with the raw frame down the side, man. This thing looks pretty sick. Okay, we definitely have a polini kit on here. I can see that now. So, interesting enough, like I said, the coolant temp sensor was stuck through the shroud, reading off like the stud bolt down there, which usually an air-cooled one has a temp ring around the spark plug. It's got a speedometer cable running back there. Overall, nothing too crazy in here, but like you can see down here, it is a polini kit. Not sure exactly which polini kit, because I think the only way to tell if it's a Corsa is through the exhaust port, unless on Piaggio there's a noticeable difference if this is a Corsa or like a regular 70 Contessa kit. So maybe someone in the comments will let me know. But yeah, that we got the MOPBOYZ 360 style intake on here. Looks like the stock reed cage still. Yasuni R exhaust, everything else looks stock. We're gonna pump up the CVT cover now. Take a look at that side. We're gonna also pull this plug real quick and take a look at the plug. Not the best, but not too bad either. We're gonna be throwing in a Freshie BR9 ES on these bad boys, the long style. With the new headlight, this thing's looking pretty good. And honestly, boys, I think all said and done, I'm gonna be going naked bar still on here. I know I've been hating on the naked bar setup. I think I'm just gonna get a different stem and run naked bars, only because once I get that front reservoir as well for the front brake, I think the clearance is not there on this bad boy. But maybe because these bars aren't as wide. Maybe that's my problem, huh? Should we still go? What do you think? What do you think, boys? Do we go with the stock handlebars and get a set of stock handlebars going? Or do we keep it naked bars? All right, well now it is time to crack open our side case here. And let's see, what in the world is that? That's for the kickstand, huh? Let's see if we got any goods in here. We found out we had the Polini 70 kit, like I said. I'm assuming it's a Corsa. All right, got electric start still going on in there. Polini clutch bell. Looks like a MOPBOYZ belt. Moto Force belt. I see that it has a Polini Contra in it though. I do see a blue shiny Contra spring in there, so. Let's see, boys. We can get rid of this oil pump though. Not sure if you have to plug it on these motors though. I don't want to remove that yet, unless I know if we have to plug it. So let me know in the comments down below. Is this one of the ones that go into the cases like that and you have to plug it with a good seal? Or is this one like a pre-bug where you can just remove it? We'll have to find that out later too when we look at some parts, boys. Ooh, the crankshaft though. The threads aren't the best on the crankshaft. Same with this one. Wow, that's on there. That was on there. I've never had one stuck like that. Wow, that was on there. Holy smokes. Gearbox is so tiny looking on these. And yeah, wow, we got a Polini, Polini adjustable clutch in here. You can see that. The blue springs in that Polini adjustable clutch with a Polini Contra. So, that's alright. That's pretty good. I'm not happy with that. We can definitely utilize that clutch. Let's check out this variator. It did come with another variator. We'll have to take a look at that. It looks like we have a MOPBOYZ variator. You know you're messing with Piaggio when you got the big old roller weights, like them hunk of junks right there. The starter gear actually drives off the drive face on these, kind of how a Honda Elite is, rather than off a whole clutch situation back here. But back here, I don't know if you can see that, there is a guided shaft, and that's stuck on the crank. The crank looks damaged. Some damage to the crank right here, as you could tell, and then back here. It's probably a stock crank in it, I'm assuming. But I'm stoked to see we do have a variator and a clutch and everything already, so we'll be able to get some tuning out of this already. But sadly, no tuning today because it's still raining outside. So today is just going over this whole bike. I'm gonna order some parts up for this thing tonight. We learned that we have a Polini clutch bell. We got the MOPBOYZ front variator. We have a Polini kit, not sure exactly which one, a Yasuni R exhaust. And we learned that we need some wiring and stuff set up for our stage 6 actual gauge that we have. I wanted to go mess around and tuning this bike, but it's been raining for the last 2 days here, so I can't even do that, and it's consistently raining this whole time. Right now it has a PWK style 26mm carb with that Polini 70 kit on it, so I'm feeling like that carb is a little too big for this setup. I can't imagine this thing likes, unless these Piaggios like really big carbs, I can't imagine it really wants a 26mm on that like sports style setup, so definitely mess with that a little bit. The thing runs pretty damn good. And that's ice cold. my God.